speakers, no? So, Alex, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, Michelle. I request for the first speaker because I will provide the overview of the situation,
Okay, okay, okay.
and then because no will speak about a specific
Okay,
project issue. That's why.
okay, sure, sure, Alex.
If that is okay with you, or I
Yeah,
can
yeah,
do
yeah.
the second is fine.
No, no, no. You do the first. Whatever is appropriate. I just because I was not on my email this morning, so I don't know. That is fine. Okay, no, no. Agreed. So Alex is first, right?
Uh huh.
Alex first.
Yes.
How are you, Alex, my dear brother? We haven't seen you for so
Good
long.
to see you again.
I know. I just so always grateful when our friends in Myanmar are safe. So, or from okay, Alex. So you the first speaker, then Nono, and then Yuka.
Yep.
Okay. And what we will do is I request.
Hello, Shamali. Welcome back to the afternoon sessions. So for this afternoon, there will be two panel discussions. The first panel discussion is on business beyond the crisis, foreign investment in Myanmar despite the rights violations. And it will be followed by another panel discussions on social and ecological disruption in Ayeyarwady, view from the ethnic communities network for ecology recovery. So now let me continue to the first panel discussion of this afternoon on business beyond the crisis, foreign investment in Myanmar despite the rights violation. And this panel is co-organized by ETO Watch and Mekong Watch. So the moderator of this panel is none other than our big sister, Sharmali Galtat from the Focus on the Global South. So Sharmali, the floor is yours.
Um, are we starting now? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Are we starting now or not?
Yeah, we're starting now. I can hear you now.
Yes, how you can start now.
We can start now. Okay. 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 Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you can see me and you can hear me. Okay. Yes. Okay. All right. All right. So, welcome to this special panel of MEO. I am Shalmali Guttal with Focus on the Global South. I'm joining you from another place, from India. I used to live in the Mekong region for many years, and then now I'm temporarily in India. So I'm joining you from here, and all our panelists are joining from other places. They're not able to be there in person in Bangkok to make the presentations in person. Now, today's panel is about business investment, different types of investments in Myanmar, Burma, and the relationship between these businesses, these investments, and these corporate operations on human rights and democratization and bringing about peace in Burma. Now, I think all of you who are in the audience and those who are listening in know very well that Myanmar, Burma has been in the grips of military dictatorship for many decades. And there have been very fierce struggles for self-determination, for independence, for autonomy, and for defending the rights of the different ethnic nationalities and all the people within the territory of Burma, Myanmar, for many decades since the junta took over a long time ago. And there was a brief period of peace in between, or an attempt for a brief period of peace and democracy in between, but that has collapsed. That collapsed completely when, in the middle of the pandemic, the junta and the military hit back with great force and destroyed whatever little attempt was possible towards democratization and peace. And since then, civil society, social movement, grassroots leaders, unionists, journalists, writers, community members who have just been defending their rights to livelihood and speaking out for an end of conflict and an end of occupation have been very brutally persecuted and have been, many have been shot, they've been killed, they've been executed, villages have been burned, people have had to flee the country. And in the middle of the pandemic, and when the neighboring countries closed their borders in the Mekong region, and we're in a situation where governments were already paranoid and using very heavy security apparatus to control people moving in and out of the country, out the national borders, the people of Myanmar have had to somehow find some measure of safety against a very brutal dictatorship regime. Now, in the middle of all this, what has ASEAN been doing? What have the ASEAN governments been doing? How have they responded to this multiple crisis that is repeating itself again and again in Myanmar? And how have businesses and corporations responded? These businesses and corporations that promised investment fund, they promised development financing for Myanmar, a new Myanmar. What have they been doing? So our panel today, we will discuss some of these issues, and we have three very accomplished, very well-known, very committed researchers who will present their findings and their perspectives. They're researchers, and at the same time, they're also advocates and supporters of people's rights, human and community. And let's hear from them and hear their perspectives. And after we hear from them, I will make a short. There will be some time for questions and answers and discussion, and then we can come back to the panel again for their responses to the questions and for any final recommendations that they have for all of us who are working in the Mekong region, who are working in ASEAN, and who are also working internationally on the issue of corporate governance and the defending the rights of people and communities. So we will have three speakers today. Our first speaker is Sao Alex Tu. He is a land rights and human rights and environmental activist. He's working with Karen Environmental and Social Action Network, KESAN. He has been involved in monitoring the increase of foreign investment in Southeast and Southern Burma in the last 11 years. He has been a very powerful advocate for land reform, better resource governance, social and environmental justice, and the rights of indigenous people and ethnic communities in conflict-affected areas. And this has been for more than 15 years he's been doing this. Now, Alex will provide a brief political overview and a situational overview of Burma. And then he will talk about how foreign investments have continued to come in and what have they been doing in ways to support and allow the Burma military to continue to kill people and to maintain its regime. And I think Alex will also make recommendations for ASEAN and international communities and investors but maybe that will be in the second half, second part of the presentation. So, Alex, please, over to you.
Thank you very much, Shah. Uh, you all hear me okay?
Yes, we hear you fine. Can we hear
Okay.
from the floor, from the room? Can you hear Alex okay?
You hear me from the room?
Yes, yes, really clear.
Thank you. Thank you. Go ahead, Alex.
Great, great. Thank you. Thank you everyone for joining the event, and thank you, Shamli, for the introduction. And allow me to provide an overview of the situation of Burma. You were probably aware that in the last few days, the brutal military, Burma military's helicopters attacked a school by firing machine guns in Ledjagol village in Sagai region. The helicopters kept firing the school for about an hour. And after they stopped, the soldiers came into the school compound, started shooting at the school. This brutal attack killed 30 people, and 11 of them were children. And about 30 students more were wounded from the attacks, and many children lost their limbs. The soldiers packed the children's dead bodies in bags and took them away. Did they return the bodies to the families? This brutal attack on the people, including children, shows the brutal Burma military regime led by General May Aung Hlaing has no sense of humanity. The killing of civilians is happening every day across the country, and it will continue. As of June 2022, more than 12,000 democracy activists remain in detentions and prisons, and they are subjected to tortures. Among them, almost 300 detainees are children, and some children are being taken as hostages to force their parents to give themselves up to the regime. The total number of IDPs across Burma is now more than 1.3 million, and majorities are in Sagaing and Magui regions, Arakan, Chin, the western part of Burma, Kachin northern part of Burma, Karen, Karenni, southeast of Burma, areas where there are active armed conflicts taking place. For the international communities and for those who are closely watching and monitoring the situation in Burma, it is important to note that the latest iteration of crisis in Burma that began on February last year, different from the last 73 years of armed conflict between the central government and most of the ethnic nationalities within the country's borderland areas. This war is not just between the brutal military regime on one side and the ethnic armed organizations, local people's defense forces, and the shadow government NUG on the other side, but to an unprecedented degree between the military dictatorship and the majority of the people, of whom have voted repeatedly with the clear aim of removing the military from power. This is a real fact that the military simply cannot accept. The Burma military has always been the main actor dominating the country's politics and economics. The political influence and economic power are conditioned to support each other. In the last 5 years, under the civilian government, the military has started to lose grip of economic power that supports their political influence. It feels unsafe anymore, even they have the 2008 military constitution that protects and supports their continual involvement in the politics of the country. As a result, they stake the coup and siege power from the civilian government. Rejecting the election result and ignoring the people's will show these military generals will continue to do whatever it takes to regain control of its political influence and economic power of the country. So it is important to see that the people are at war with the oppressive and brutal military regime that needs to be removed from the country's political arena. The people's defense war against this brutal military regime is a fight between freedom and slavery. If the people win, it will break free from the military rule, create the future of Burma without the military dominating the political arena. But if the people lose, it will be another 50 years or more of slavery to the military rule. This could be the last war of Burma. The brutal military has tried to crush both peaceful and armed opposition by beating, arresting, hanging, executing, torturing, and bombing people, as well as by shelling, invading, and burning down hundreds of villages and towns. There are daily attacks on rural and urban communities throughout the country. Its indiscriminate use of air power to kill civilians shows the military will do whatever within its power to try and crush resistance to its rule. But even after more than 18 months of harsh attempts, it has been unable to contain the situation. The images of hundreds of local people's defense forces who daily carry out guerrilla attacks on the military regime's troops and its supporting administrative pillars across the country, along with the breakdown of ceasefire agreements with numerous ethnic armed organizations, it showed that the resistance against this military dictatorship will continue and grow. The brutal Burma military has lost control of many areas, including its military outposts in ethnic borderland areas, and cannot control guerrilla attacks by local people defense forces in the main city either. Faced with multiple detections, low morale among its troops, poor recruitment members, with heavy fightings in many fronts. In the last April and August, the Burma military has called for peace talks with several selected ethnic armed organizations, but they are excluding the newly emergent the newly emerging local people defense forces and the shadow government, national unity government, from the invitation. So it must be understood that these peace talk invitations with selected ethnic armed organization is simply a strategy to ease opposition resistance and at the same time to deceive the international communities. The brutal military regime is making its call for peace talk, but show no credible sign of refraining from armed attacks or allow humanitarian access to those most in need. On the other side, the country's economy is deteriorating. The brutal Burma military more than ever needs money to continue to support its political agenda, fund its military entity, military operation against the resistances. Even with the political instability, security risks, and humanitarian crisis that create unfavorable environment for the investors, we are still see there are many foreign investors that have continued to work with this brutal military regime and provide revenue that enable the military to continue its campaign against the people. The largest revenue the military has now is from oil and gas investment. According to the state-run newspaper, the Burma military received more than $800 million within the 4 months of last April to July. And if this tops up on 1.7 billion that the military, as Commerce military, claims it earned in last October, it brings its total to more than $2.5 billion in less than a year. And most of the revenue comes from exporting gas from the Yadana, Yadago, Shui, and Zotika offshore gas fields. Members of ASEAN, especially Singapore and Thailand, are the second and third largest investors after China. Japan, South Korea, and India also have huge investment in the country. Most of the revenue received from all these investments are used by the brutal Burma military to buy weapons and aviation gasoline to conduct its campaign against the democratic resistance forces and the people. Directly or indirectly, the revenue received from this foreign direct investment definitely fund the brutal military to continue to commit gross human rights violations, atrocity crimes, including war crimes, crimes against humanity by torching houses, burning villages, looting properties, massacring people, community rape and gang rape, shooting on sight, indiscriminate shelling and launching airstrikes in towns and villages. So the people of Burma have sacrificed their lives and livelihoods to defend democracy and their rights by engaging in political defiance and armed resistance as a last resort to prevent this illegitimate, brutal military regime from taking over the country. They need support from the international communities. The international communities, including ASEAN, can play a big role and create a huge change by standing on the side of the people of Burma. But their response to the crisis has failed the people. ASEAN, which Burma is a member to, and its member countries can play a huge role, but they have taken zero actions since the military coup. ASEAN and its members can put both individual and collective action against the military regime. It can suspend Burma's membership to ASEAN, and its member countries that have investment in Burma can also put pressure by suspending their investment and payment to the military regime. The continuous support of military regime by engaging with them and providing revenue that supports the military can be against the people. We undermine and becoming an obstruction to the people's democratic movement. It is also legitimizing the brutal military rule. It is also opposes the will of the people. It is blocking the pathway to real peace building and the building of federal democracy. And the worst is that it is encouraging the brutal military regime's genocide acts against the minorities and prolonging the suffering of the people of Burma. So the international communities must do, including the ASEAN communities and members, must do what it can to support the people of Burma and support the struggle for freedom, peace, and the building of federal democracy in the country. And they may not provide any support to the military regime and then ensure the military regime do not politically and financially benefit from any responses the international communities make in response to the needs in Burma. So I urge the international communities, including ASEAN and its member countries, to support the people of Burma and their movement against the brutal military, not by words, but by actions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Alex. Thank you for that very comprehensive overview and very powerful words of, what I wouldn't say recommendations, but the demands of people from within the country who are struggling for freedom and also to defend the rights of people, of what ASEAN should do, what international leaders should do, and what corporations and investors should do. So let's hear now from our second speaker, Nono. And Nono is part Karen and part Tawai and a little bit of Mon also. She has been working in the natural resource sector for resource rights together with local communities, ethnic groups, and indigenous peoples for over 10 years. And most of her experiences are in research documentation, campaign and advocacy for policy reform and social justice, and especially in the extractive industries such as the oil, gas, mineral, and the forest and land issues. And as Alex already pointed out, the extractive industries are the industry that actually providing some of the most revenue for this brutal junta with which they are buying arms. And so it's a very important sector to monitor in terms of what investments and investors and corporations doing. And since Saku Nono has been working very closely with the Blood Money Campaign Group, advocating to the international community to cut the main foreign revenue flow to the junta and also educating the public about how the military and the junta are financing their operations. Because if we can find a way to cut off that finance, it is at least one way to bring the military, to some kind of negotiating table, and perhaps there is a possibility then to bring the coup to an end. So let me hand over to Nono right away. She will talk to us about the oil and gas sector and how it contributes to the junta's operations against the people of Myanmar. Nono, over to you, please.
Thank you, Shaw. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. And I would like to say thanks to the organizer for letting me involved in such kinds of the important event. And I'm sorry for not turning on my camera. I think it's okay as well. So in here, I'm going to focus this on the oil and gas sector and also about how it is financing to the military to stay longer their dictatorship in Myanmar and killing the whole people, the whole country. So in the Myanmar economy, that's the main revenue sources. It's natural resource sector, especially the extractive industry that everybody already aware. So in there, it's like annual military budget is increasing since after the coup, and it's been according to the some of the data the leak out, and also some of the expert following on that one, it's been increasing up to the 12%, even though it's tried to reduce before the coup. It's like up to 10% of the whole national budget. And why they are reducing the health sector to the half of the current budget of 4.2 to the 2.8, and also in education sector 8.4 to the 7%, something like that. That's what they've been doing on. So since the 2012, actually, the defense used the 13 and 15% of national budget. It's which is account for almost 2.6 billion per year that they've been using. So most of the that many used in the defense groups are from the foreign currency, of course. It's because of the various types of the weapon, ammunition, payments, maintenance, repair, petrols for vehicles, jet fuels, everything's paid by the foreign currency. So foreign currency is really essential for them and valuable to keep for their life. So that's been they've been using annual and into the SAC. It's a 1.5 to 1.8 annually, and then they increase. And the recent year is a 2.6 billion per year. That's what all the data are checking out. So in here, the oil and gas is really important role, because the gas export is the largest single source of the annual revenue for Hunter. It's account 13%. More than 50% of the foreign currency. It's now, we guess that it's almost 70 to 80% of foreign currency from the oil and gas sector. So that they can use for the killing weapons and ammunition. So that's been the main important part we need to highlight on. And in the oil and gas sectors, the foreign currency revenue source are from the offshore gas. That's Alice is already talk about the four project we have it from the offshore sector: Yadana, Yedakong, Sodika, and also the Shui gas. So three projects, all the gas exports, most all 70 to 80% going to the Thailand, and the one project, Shui gas project, is going to China. So that's how it is the offshore projects are working on. So in the Myanmar, if the foreign investor, especially the oil and gas sector, they have to work together with the state-owned enterprise. We call in the oil and gas sector is the Myanmar gas Myanmar Oil and Gas Enterprise. That is the state-owned enterprise. So they have to do the PSC, the production sharing contract with them. So that's the requirement to work in the Myanmar investors. So the MOGE, the state-owned enterprise, always have a same shareholding, same share in every project, and all the production for projects as well as in the pipelines projects. So they are benefiting all those kinds of things. So however, the when we have a look at it since after the coup, so there are two projects operators, they are withdrawing. So in April 2021, Petronas, the subsidiary PC Myanmar Hong Kong, is declared force majeure on the fee. So, however, that project on the field of the Yadakon has been depleting their production since 2003. So it seems like the profit is not much going well, so that they are stopping and withdrawing from that project. So within October and March, October 2021 to the March 2022, 22.4 million were paid to the MFTB Nostro account at Singapore branch of Malaysia Bank, CIMB. That's from the leaking document that they showed that. Even though, so all the operations are still running, even though some of the state-owned enterprise on the natural resource sector, like Myanmar Timber Enterprise, Myanmar Gem Enterprise, they are under sanction, but MOGE is still lacking. So in January, that's the Total Energy and also Chevron, they separately announced their withdrawal from the Yadana project as well. So that's the two projects that key operators are announcing their withdrawal from the each project. But seems like the Yadana project is right after the Total Energy announced, the EU has sanctioned to the MOGE. So that is the first ever sanction since after the coup that to the oil and gas sector. We've been working a lot for the cutting the revenue flow and also the sanction to the oil and gas sector to stop that financing, because this is the biggest revenue source ever. So, however, it didn't happen, and it only happened right after the Total Energy withdrawal in January. So that's the key thing. Why we are talking about that one is very important. In 2009, the Yadana project alone it's established right after the 1998. 1998, the coup, the Yadana project is the first project ever in the oil and gas sector, and it makes the military to have a long dictatorship for until the 2011, the reform agenda started. So from the 2006 and 2009, USD they have manipulated a lot of things with the currency exchange rate. At the time, it's the official currency exchange rate. It's only 6 chats, Myanmar chats per USD. While outside it has the 1,000 chats per USD. So, but they recorded in the as officially 30 million only within 2006 to 2009, and then actual income coming in within these 2006 and 2009, it's like a 4.83 billion actual earning from the Yadana project alone. So they've been how manipulate and how they've been using all those kinds of things. And we have all those kinds of the recording evidence. And also in 2001, Yadana project gets sealed, it's the 100 million gas earning. And at that time, in 2001, the military, they did the Russia-made MiG-29 warplane. 10 of them, they bought it down with a down payment with a 130 million down payment. So that's it's been they've been using the oil and gas sector's foreign currency for their military and killing the people, and also using the stronger power to their military strengthening in the Myanmar. So that's the failure of the oil and gas sector. Even though it's happening, no Western community is really care about to sanction to the MOGEs, the oil and gas sector or MOGE, or looking at it. Even the Western community and the investor are entering in. So in now happening in next again. And in this time, surprisingly, Total left and Chevron that those are who supported in the last coup and last 1998 military coup. They are the one who supported for the long life of the military. But now they left. But still, there are not only Yadana project now. Now it's become like 4 projects already for the oil and gas sector. And also Yadana is still a lot of money making. And even though they left, still the operator is there by the PTT. So PTT is the one from the Thailand state-owned enterprise, and they played a role in the with their subsidiary company called PTT-EP, PTT Exploration and Production in Myanmar, and they've been working in all 3 projects. So Yadana, Yedakon, and Sodiga. So, however, they withdraw from the Yadakon, but they still operating in Yadana and Zotika. So Zotika is started happening at the peak period of the production, and Yadana is still in the highest amounts of the revenue making, and also like it how to say state production is the good position. So that's the Yadana in the Yadana project. Even though total left, the PTTEP is taking the operator role, and it is taking the without stopping any how to say operation in that area, and stay making a money paying to the paying to the hunter. So when we have a look at it, it means like even though some of the company corporation are left in that sector, there are always some people who are taking the role, and then stay supporting to the military through the payment. So as a blood money campaign, we always call out to all the investors, especially from the oil and gas sector. Foreign currency are vital. So to stop paying all the payment, we never ask for the stop operating, but we always ask for the stop paying, and going to put it in the one escrow account until the elected government democracy is restored in the Myanmar. That's what we have been talking. And however, until now, we didn't succeed yet until the total left. So that's, however, total has been bad image we did in the internationally, how they are irresponsibly divested from the Myanmar, and how they contributed until they left to the killing people by pain. So that's the main point. And for the PTT now, it is taking the role of the total, and also the PTT is taking in both projects, the Yadana and also the Zotika. The two projects are really important and also high volume of the production, and making a lots of money to the hunter to make sustain and more killing in the country, and also the more human rights violation as well. So that's every day is people are getting killed, and every day people are getting arrested, and every day people are getting disappear without even record. So that's what is happening, and it's supporting. So that's that's the point that I really would like to talk about. Even though the gas revenue, it's never stop, and then how we can as the operator and as the international responsible business people, what they can do, it's like they can stop paying to the hunter, and then what they can do is that they always say such kind of the two excuses. One, it's according to the law obligation they have to pay. Another one is for the electricity, not to cut it off. That is the reason always given. So however, in all those reasons are nonsense, because according to the law there is no obligation to pay to the to the SEC, because it's not at the real government of the Myanmar. So that's the thing as we've been talking about, no responsibility to pay the military hunter who are killing the field on the field. So, and another point for the energy, electricity for the people. So electricity in Myanmar, there's never been how to say on time, and also it's been cut off most of the time. And also for the Thai energy sector, when we have a look at it, the excuses for the Thai energy sector to be shortage or to have a problem, something like that. But when we have a look at it to the Thai energy sector, it's always oversupplied. And oversupplied, Thai energy sector is from the natural gas, coal, and other oil, and also the LNG, and also so many various sources. And Myanmar gas field is contributing in the natural gas as with the 14% of the natural gas. And they all are coming from the Yadana, Zodica, and Yadana. And even though that it's coming, they are using the 5 power plant for the Myanmar natural gases. The 2 power plants, like a Ratchaburi power plant and Ratchaburi cogeneration power plants, are the key sources solely dependent on the Myanmar natural gas. However, when we have a look at it in the record in every monthly, how much do they use it? So Ratchaburi power plants rarely used. It's almost not using at all until August of this year. And also for the Ratchaburi cogeneration power plant, it's always underused, like 50% always under. In sometimes it's only 10%, something like that. It means that there are lots of resources and oversupply. They even didn't use the Myanmar natural gases. So even it's not the way that that the excuses is happening. And also according to my understanding, and also all the paper, all the study and researcher and expertise, what they calculated and also what they documented, when I have a look at it, energy sector in the Thailand is always above the peak demand. It's even they have a 15% oversupply. So that's what they have been reserving and what they have been having. So even the cutting the revenue, the oil and gas from the Myanmar, they never be a shortage. That's one thing. So that is the things that PDD also has to be should not be given excuses for the Thai energy and also for the Myanmar people, because Myanmar people never have electricity like Thailand or other. It's been it depends on the military now, because they control everything. They control to the oil and gas sector, all the government department revenues are controlled, and they are using whatever they want. There is no transparency, no accountability, no data happening. Only we are using for the leaked document, and some of the people who are who wants to help us from the inside of the government, they just sharing us some of the information, and that's what we have been checking. Though it's not really transparent, and whatever they use is for the only military defenses, as they've been fighting the whole country, across the country, and every day they are killing, and they even increases a lot in their military spending by using all those kinds of things. Now they are dealing with the Russia for the getting the wine and also the fuels and also for the ammunition and the weapons. These all are coming from the oil and gas sector. So that's what we have to have a look at it for all the oil and gas investor to check it out and to stop funding, as all the corporate oil and gas companies are internationally well known, and also they all already declared as they follow to the all international mechanism, international criteria, international standard. Even PTT is submitted UNGC, the United Nations Global Compact. So they, according to that, their report, when we have a look at it, they follow the human rights policy of the UN. So it means that like UN Declaration of Human Rights, guiding principle on HR, all those kinds are they will follow. And also they are part of, my understanding, it's that they are part of the so many international recognition how to say channel, like a Don Joe's. All these are, they have to be show their dignity and their practices, and also they have a human rights management system on their website, but I never seen any kinds of the complaint on their website as well. So that's one thing. They are telling the world that they are responsible investor. The oil and gas companies are well known, and they've been operating in so many other different countries. So like in Myanmar, it's now happening the war crime and also killing every day the people with your money. So that's what you have to rethink about, and also stop funding and stop supporting to stop contributing to that the military brutal killing to their own people. So that's why I would like to give the message to the oil and gas sector company and what they are promising to the world, and their action has to be start now. Thank you. Hello, Shaw.
Yeah,
Yes, I
yeah,
can.
yes. Sorry, I was having a small technical issue. Yes, thank you very much, Nono. And I think the demands that you are making to the corporations and to the companies who are investing in Myanmar, whichever country they're from, are very important, are very clear and important. And as you said, so many of these companies and investors talk about corporate social responsibility. They say they are part of the UN Business Human Rights principles, and then they are following various multi-stakeholder kind of platforms recommendations. Uh, but on the ground, the reality, of course, is very different. And it's ironical that in this week, just now, the UN, Business and Human Rights Group meeting just happened, and I wonder whether any of these corporations or the governments that provide support and financing for these corporations, whether any of them have been called to account for what they are doing in the world and in this region, and especially in Myanmar. Okay, so let's moving to the last speaker today is Yuka Kiguchi from Japan, who is the director of Mekong Watch. And Mekong Watch is a Japanese civil society organization based in Japan, which has been doing advocacy and support of people's rights in the Mekong region for many, many decades. And Yuka has been with the Mekong Watch since 2000. She passed a lot of her field research has been in the local fisheries sector in the Mekong Basin, and also monitoring the Japanese aid to the Mekong countries. She will talk about the impacts and the way Japanese public money is still supporting the military junta. And she will talk about, she will include in this the Yettagun gas project, and also how civil society has been responding to it. And Yuka will has a presentation as well as a video. So I hand the control of the screen over to Yuka, please. Oh, Yuka.
Thank you, Sharmani. Okay, thank you for everyone and who joined this session, and also thank you for the organizer who giving the chance to us for co-organize this session. I would like to share my PowerPoint slide. I hope your your screen is not so small. I'm not sure. Yeah, so I'm talking about the Japanese economic aid to Myanmar. Uh, Mainly, um, I will talk about the 3 points today. As someone mentioned, Japanese government is continuing official development assistance called ODA even after the attempt coup. And also, Japan is also continuing projects that benefit to the Myanmar military using public fund. Also, about the Yetagun, Japanese partner has announced withdrawal from Yetagun gas project, but very concerned because it may be problematic because of how to close the gas field, and also the money will flow to military or not. We have many concerning point to remain. So they need to be a responsible exit, but it will be happen or not. It will not sure. So what we you skip this one. um, Japanese officials often describe their relationship with Myanmar's military junta. It's very favorably. Last year, former Foreign Minister Motegi called Myanmar as a friend at, at the press conference. But the question is, who is a friend in current situation? So now, office, Japanese provide public fund and private fund now. Japan provides the public and private fund. Japanese ODA used to have a great impact to Mekong region, but now such kind of public fund are queue for private investment. And Japan is a country without natural resources such as gas or oil. So for the country, for the country economic development, Japan holds many resource interests in overseas, including Myanmar. After the coup, such kind of investment and money flow is very problematic and supporting the military junta. Uh, it's a I show the how Japanese ODA is huge for Myanmar. Uh, Cumulative figure of ODA up to and including uh, fiscal year to 2020, total is around 1,070 748.8 billion yen. It's about 12.5 billion US dollar. It's including grant money, technical assistance, and loan. The 34 ODA loan project currently being implemented. Total amount is around 739.6 billion yen. It's half of they promised with Myanmar government, former government, but it's half, but still very huge. And also, Japanese government provide not only ODA, but also other public money called OOF, other official flows support Japanese corporation operate overseas. The, the Japan Bank for International Cooperation, JBIC, is a Japanese public financial institution and export credit agency, and one of the important actors on this. Currently, JBIC provides loan in urban development called Y Complex in the former capital Yangon, as I will explain in later. And also, new actor will be made Japan Overseas Infrastructure Investment Corporation for Transport Urban Development. It's very long name. It's called shorter. It's called JOIN. Is controlled by Ministry of Land, Infrastructure, Transport, and Tourism in Japan. About 95% of JOIN's share are held by the government. So it's called a private public fund, but in reality, it's a public fund. They invested 5 projects in Myanmar, including Y Complex project, and and also so about the ETO, Ministry of Economic Trade and Industry held ETO gas project shares, stakes. So I will believe description Japanese project with connection to Myanmar military in current situation. Bago Bridge construction project is one of ODA project. Main contractor is Yokogawa Bridge Corporation. They signed a memorandum of understanding with Myanmar Economic Corporation, MEC. A military affiliated company appear to be manufacturing steel beams for this bridge. Construction is underway, so they didn't stop yet. Another ODA project is a famous one, the Tirawa Special Economic Zone project. Tirawa SAEZ is the flagship project for Japan in Myanmar. Japanese government involved in this project is very complex. Both the Japanese and Myanmar government are involved in Tirawa SAG as investor. We had pointed out that the dividend payment to go to the military and call to stop it after coup. Currently, Japanese government and the corporations explain that dividends payments are not being made and being the investment for development of SEG itself. So they said tried to say that explain that they didn't pay to uh, military, but still concerning point. So um, we found that have a direct connection with Myanmar military business in ODA. It's not so much, but um, still, it's Japanese ODA is still problematic because if compared with amount of money of for ODA project, money flow to Myanmar business from Japanese ODA is not so huge. Most ODA projects do not directly benefit to the Myanmar military, as we research. But it's still problem, but promising to provide about the 2 trillion yen, give moral support to the military junta, and also loan aid become a debt that the Myanmar people must repay in the future. In current economic situation, it will be a big problem in the near future. So all money will make more direct benefit to Myanmar than ODA. Benefit to the military than ODA, such as urban development in Yangon called Y Complex Project. It's being developed on the former site of the military museum, a prime location in the largest city, Yangon. Company Tokyo Tatemono Fujita Corporation, it's a subsidiary of the Daya House industry, to build and operate a large-scale complex like an office, commercial facilities, luxury hotel, and apartment in this project. Problem is a land lease payment to made to the office of the Content Master General. This organization uh, prepare many weapons or managing the business of the military junta. So they paid such kind of rent fee to the military nearly directly. Amount of the money is more than 2 million, more than $2 million US dollar per year. So because of so many criticism happened, and also we also the pressure to the shareholders of these companies, uh, to maybe so many actors work with these companies. Now Tokyo Tatemono has recorded losses on the project. Project suspended now. However, land lease payment will need to be made if once the project resumes. So it still have a big problem for. So last one is the Yadana gas project. Japanese government and the corporation have been involved in the Yadana gas field, which began production in 2000. Gas exports to Thailand by pipeline and sold to the PTP as former presenter explained. So 4 years Yetagun project was operated by Petronas Charigari, a Malaysian company with TPPEP, Japan Nippon Oil Explosion Myanmar, and the military controlled Myanmar Oil Gas Enterprise MOGE as a partner. Nippon Oil Explosion Myanmar is in turn is jointly held by the government of Japan through the Ministry of Economic Trade and Industry. Also, JX Nippon Oil Gas Explosion, it's subsidiary of ENEOS Holdings, and Mitsubishi Corporation also joined this project. As former presenter mentioned, all the party expect MOGE announce intent to withdraw this project from this project. But I want to say they withdraw because of our voice made pressure to them. But I'm sorry to say that it may second or third reason. Main reason companies withdraw is gas Yetagun, gas from the Yetagun nearly depletion. Now we call for all Japanese parties for responsible disengagement. It's very unclear whether withdrawal is possible without transfer fund to the military junta, and it has very high environmental risk from the decommission of the gas field. Nippon Oil Exploration Myanmar and its investor did not clearly disclose their decision making in related to this engagement, and also they didn't say about the money flow to the military junta. They explained to us that they will try, but any information disclosed happened now until now. So I will show about our activity, the Japanese civil society, what Japanese society do. We start a new campaign called No More Business with the Military Junta since around April 2021. So holding the rallies in front of the Prime Minister office every month, and visiting companies and sends so many letters to the investor of the companies or other actors who involved. And also we are doing online petition calling for responsible disengagement from the Yetagun project to the Japanese government and also the two companies involved in this project. So it's still ongoing, and we can get more than 10,000 people sign it. If you're interested, please join us. Our activity is continuing, but still difficult to stop money flow to the military junta from Japan. So if you have chance to join us, please support us. And we will continue our effort until Japanese government and companies change. We will try. So finally, I end by sharing our video of Eitogun. I'm sorry, it's Japanese, but English subtitle is there. So and also it's animation, so maybe you can easy to understand, we hope. And I will share the video. So thank you for hearing me.
Thank you, Yuka. So you'll play the video now, and after the video, we will have some
Yes.
discussion, because
Can
I think it's quite challenging for people to be listening only on Zoom. So, okay,
Oh.
Yuka, play the video, please.
Okay. wait a moment. Can you see?
Yes.
Okay.
I hope I can see, but I hope the participant in the room can also see. Okay.
Sorry, yeah, please come to closer than closer the screen. So it's only 3 minutes short animation about ETO.
ミャンマー国軍の資金源を断て。2021年2月、ミャンマーで国軍がクーデターを起こしました。ミャンマー国軍による残虐な弾圧が続き、子供を含む多数の市民が殺されています。しかし実は、国軍の残虐行為は今に始まったことではありません。少数民族の居住地域では、長いところで70年以上前から武力紛争が続いているのです。村への砲撃や焼き討ち、強制労働、性暴力、超法規的な殺害などにより、多くの人が犠牲になってきました。クーデター後、各地で紛争が再び激しくなり、1400万人以上が水や食料ですら支援が必要な状態に追い込まれています。それでは、ミャンマー国軍が国際法違反であるこのような残虐行為を続けることができた資金はどこから来たのでしょうか。その資金源に関しては、日本も無縁ではありません。ミャンマー南部の海上に、イエタ郡というガス田が開発されました。海底を掘って地中のガスを採取しています。2000年から稼働しているこのガス田は、ガスの全量をタイに輸出して利益を上げてきました。その利益が渡る先のミャンマー石油ガス公社は、クーデター後は国軍に支配されています。事実、EU は最近、ミャンマー石油ガス公社を制裁対象にしました。このガス田事業には、マレーシアとタイの企業とともに、日本政府、エネオスグループ、三菱商事が出資しています。つまり、日本のお金がミャンマー国軍の資金源になり、私たちも弾圧に間接的に加担してしまっています。稼働開始から約20年経った今、日本の政府と企業を含めた海外事業者は事業からの撤退を決めました。ちょうどガスを取り尽くし、採算が取れなくなってきたところです。ガスが枯渇すれば、ガス田は閉鎖しなくてはなりません。閉鎖は環境と人権に配慮した形で行われなければいけませんが、果たしてそれはきちんと行われるのでしょうか。日本政府と日本企業には責任ある撤退が求められます。日本が関与してミャンマー国軍に利益をもたらす事業は他にもたくさんあります。私たちは見て見ぬふりをしていいのでしょうか。ミャンマー国軍の資金源を断て。
Okay, thank you.
福島県。Wow. Thank you. Thank you very much, Yuka. That was a very powerful video and very explanatory in, in laying out all the key issues of government support and investment, investment operations, but how they're supported by the government and their impacts on people. Now, I know this is a challenge for all of our colleagues sitting in the room because you had to see all of us on Zoom. But I would like to open the floor for comments, questions, and any other points that you may want to share, that we can have a short discussion before we go back to the panelists for their responses again. So the floor is open. I hope somebody can take the mic and I hope somebody will be sharing the mic. And whoever will speak, I request you to please say your name and where you're from, and whether your question is directed at any particular person. Please don't feel shy. Any questions? or any points that anybody from the audience would like to share to add to this discussion about the relationship between, investment, corporations, businesses, governments, and then the rights of people.
Sorry again, I have
Somebody,
to
I see. Yes,
play
please.
a role of what you call. Hello, I'm Mitun from Minet. I might have maybe some small point. One is concerning of the gas operation that withdraw. So those company who left, one question for their responsibility is when the gas finish, they need to do the decommissioning process, which take a lot of money. So those who left, especially the Yadana project, which is actually is end of the project too. So the people are living right without talking much about the responsibility for the decommissioning cost. That's how can we also raise this point. Even for the Yadana, the Total and the Chevron, I think they cannot just say that, oh, they say goodbye and then leave everything. But I think the decommissioning should also their responsibility too. So they should put some money because to clean up the gas and oil operation is a big deal, right? It might cost more than even when they construct the platform itself. And that is a lot of lesson learned from the North Sea that they can learn. That might be one point. The second one, a little bit complicated, and I don't have clear for myself, is of course, the option of withdrawal to stop the money flowing to the military, but the PTT is coming, right, and continue operate. And we don't know how to make them withdraw too, right? So in that sense, the money is still flowing, right? So from what I have been follow up on that issue, there are no option that how can the Myanmar itself can take all of this to operate by themselves and supply the gas for their domestic demand, which is now they have to import from LNG. But that is again, the question is, is Burmese, the Myanmar benefit is just one, or is also, how you say, between military ruling and also the people, the electricity user? So that is still unclear. Even myself, I don't know how to have that option, but I think that the option of taking the gas of Myanmar for Myanmar people to use it, I think in my view that is also the interesting option to discussion.
Okay, thank you. I hope the speakers understood the question. It was the sound is a little blurry, but I hope you will be able to respond. Any other questions, please, from the floor?
เราทำงานในเรื่องประเด็น LGBT นะครับฉะนั้นแต่ว่าอย่างที่เห็นเรื่องที่เสนอมาปตท.สผ.เนาะมีผลต่อเรื่องการลงทุนหรือว่าแปลได้ไหม คุยได้ไหมหรือว่าสัตว์คือต้องพูดแล้วหยุดเพราะต้องแปลตามเพราะมันโอเคแค่นั้นก่อนก็ได้ครับเดี๋ยวเอาได้ไหมฮะเดี๋ยวเอาใหม่ครับ ผมทำงานประเด็น LGBT ครับแล้วก็
So I'm working on the LGBT issue.
ครับแล้วก็เราเห็นเรื่องของประเทศไทยที่นำเสนอมามีการลงทุนของปตท.สผ.ถูกไหมครับ
We see that from the presentation that PTTEP has been investing in Myanmar, right?
ครับ
I'm sorry, we can't hear the question clearly. Could you just say that again, please? Because the sound is quite muffled.
Shal, can you hear me?
Yes, but it's
The
not
sound
very
is not
clear.
good.
So if you could just repeat the question again in English, please, for the...
Okay, he hasn't got to the question first. Let me hear. เอาคำถามให้ชัดๆเลยค่ะ
Okay, I'm working as a LGBT activist, and what I hear is a PTTEP investment in the Myanmar, and it affect people there and environment there, right? So, you have any information to share that like an effect from this investment, from this business, that affect us marginalized people, LGBT person or women, or any other, like because I saw many friends from Myanmar that's like transgender people, transgender person, that affect from this military junta, and I want to hear more that effect what any information that you can share that like effect from this marginalized people. So I will work this in Thailand or share this information. Yes.
Okay. I hope the speakers got that. Also, any more? Next question, please.
Hi everyone, I'm Carlo from the International Accountability Project. I would like to know if I understand that there's a lot of ODA and other funds coming from Japan. This question is specifically for Yuka. I don't know also if there are any banks involved in these investments coming into Myanmar, Burma. I'm wondering if there is any active accountability mechanisms to ensure that civil society groups could engage in different mechanisms to question and raise concerns about the impacts of a development project supported by a Japanese entity. So yeah, that question is directed to Yuka. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Let's take one more question. Or question, we can take one or two more, and then we can go back to the panel to respond.
Could someone summarize the question for us? It's really hard to understand because of the sound.
Yeah. Yes, I was going to suggest that also. So, Ian, I request, could you do that, please?
We have another question, Charles.
If somebody has been writing the questions down, because then can read them to us. Thank you. But there is one more question. No?
Hello. Yeah. I just would like to ask the question to Nono and the Yadagons and Sotikars, all the like gas pipeline business are funded by the Japanese government, and the users, the most users is in the Thai peoples and the publics. Are there any? I just would like to ask to the time from the time perspective. Are there any possible to stop the the gas by the publics or the Thai people to stop buying the gas from the PPT? Solely to the public for kitchen use. I notice a lot the gas is used for the domestic, in the Thai communities, and This time we are trying to stop the company, and how can we engage to the public to stop buying the gas from the Myanmar, selling through the PPT. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you. So I requested Yang to have somebody summarize the questions for us so we can have the speakers to respond. Is that possible?
She's doing it. So please wait for a moment.
Maybe you could type it in the chat or send. Okay, the first question. Okay, so Ian has said the first question has been, yeah. Alex is suggesting maybe speak without the microphone. The first question is, how do we raise the issue of the decommissioning cost? So who would like to respond to the decommissioning cost issue? I mean, that's the first question. Maybe we put all the questions together and then each speaker can speak to all of them.
Can I reply first question first for saving the time?
Yes, well, if you can address the issue of the decommissioning costs, please do. Yes.
Yeah. We already raised the issue about the decommission fee to ENEOS and Mitsubishi and also Japanese government using the pressure from the investor of those companies. And for the government is more problematic. We have a very weak opposition party, so we cannot, in the National Assembly, the pressure from the other parties to the government is very weak, but still put the information to the politician who are concerned about the situation in Myanmar, pressure to ministry. And also business and human rights UN regulation support us, legitimate our voice to say something to the investor. We try to find the shareholder of those companies and send the letters to hundreds organizations and companies who invest ENEOS and Mitsubishi Corporation or something like that. We have to use many, how to say, channel to pressure them. Yeah, but it's how to say ongoing ongoing how to say issue, and also the first issue for very, how to say, we have no experience such kind of make such kind of pressure to the companies is for us too. So we need more pressure from outside, and also hopefully in Thailand also some people doing same thing to the PTT or PTTEP too. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks very much, Yuka. And this actually moves well into the next question. And the second question is how can we make the Thai people to stop buying gas from PTT and make so that the PTT will not buy the gas from Myanmar? So basically, this is really about action in Thailand as well. Would any speaker like to take this question, please? Alex, maybe you would like to take this? Or no? Okay, please go ahead, no.
Yeah. Actually, I don't know how to advise to the Thai people, but for the regarding the PTT current gas supplies are from the how to say using mostly for the energy consumption. That's my understanding. So, but even for the energy consumption from natural gas from Myanmar are not really used. They just take it, and then according to all the data showing on the power plant operation, is not functional, even not above the 50% for one power plant, and another power plant it's also even not working almost most of the months the whole year. So in here it's like they are talking about for the like electricity through the Myanmar natural gas. So for the for the you can pressure to the PTT. PTT has other products, even though they only use Myanmar natural gas for the energy consumption, energy electricity, but you can enforce to how to say pressure to the PTT for other product like PTT has other businesses. That's my understanding. Like one kind of thing is the fuel station, and at the fuel station there are also the Amazon Cafe, all those kinds of the other commodities they are doing to get other businesses together with the oil and gas sector. So that is what you can say. If PTT stop buying the stop getting natural gas from Myanmar, we are not going to use the PTT fuel station. We are not going to fill in the any station of owned by the PTT, and we are going to use other fuel station. And also, we are not going to consume from the Amazon Cafe, or also what are other products like the engine oil or something like that. All those kinds of the products by the PTT can be listed, and then you can give how to say educating to the people of your own citizen who are consuming all the products of the PTT, and why we should wipe out for the PTT product without, if they don't stop it for supporting to the Myanmar military through buying the. That's my I think quick answer, I think. And one point I would like to just my thoughts on the decommissioning. So all the international company, those who set the withdrawal from the Myanmar oil and gas sector, that is that they never have a responsible divestment practices. Even they don't have any arrangement on the decommissioning as well. So the problem in our country itself is all the contract of the oil and gas sector. When we have a look at it, there is nothing talking about for the decommissioning as well. Even though all the companies, corporation who involved and part of that oil and gas sector, including Total and also the other companies, they are talking about all over the world the environmental how to say sustainability, and also they even shifting from the energy sector, and they are sector into the sustainable environment, and they are promoting all those kinds of the other things in the world, but they have no proper arrangement and responsible arrangement for the decommissioning. It's taking advantage of the weaknesses of the Myanmar. In this time, we don't want to say that decommissioning fees and all those kinds of things to pay to the hunter, but they should start thinking about, they have to thinking about as a responsible business for the decommissioning for all the divested company, and also those the company who are in the depleting production project should be start thinking about the decommissioning, even though it's not included in the in the current contract. And also even Myanmar law, we never have that kind of things to put it in. So that's the weaknesses in Myanmar. But internationally practices, that is the higher requirement. And also it's very dangerous for the environment. And also they even didn't have all the divestors who stopped for from the Myanmar oil and gas sector, and no didn't say that how to remediate any negative social and environmental impact as well. That's the key thing we have to think about. So now it's that life and death matter. So we are not talking about that, but we have to be think about this is also the long how to say the future topic that we need to talk in that sector as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Nono. And before we go to Alex, I'll just read the last two questions. There is which I think both Alex can and maybe Yuka also can respond to. One is for specifically for people from Myanmar, how the LGBT group is being impacted by the junta's operation. If there are any specific comment from anybody. And then the second question is actually is for Yuka, but I think it's also can be a broader question. Are there accountability mechanisms in place to engage JICA and other Japanese entities, especially banks, in relation to the funds going to Burma for various development projects? Because in one way or another, these funds are being used to suppress the people and violate their rights. Now, in addition to Japanese companies and Japanese banks and Japanese aid going to Myanmar, of course, there is also a lot of other aid going from other ASEAN countries. There are lots of investments going from other ASEAN countries and also internationally. Look at India, for example. You know, there is a lot of aid and investment going. So the question is a broader question of accountability. What accountability mechanisms, real accountability mechanisms, you know, are there? Because one way or another, many aid going to this junta is resulting in the violation of rights, whether or not it's going to the military. So I request Alex to respond first, please.
Thank you very much for all the questions. I think the first question about but I mean, if the Thai, I mean, company PTT is not really using the gas that it buy from Burma, then why it is continue to buy the gas from Burma? I think that's we need to understand the main reason, which I don't really know either. So there is a group of I mean Thai I think NGO Minet is doing a lot of study on the energy research of Thailand. I mean, if I'm sure that many of you here sitting in the room probably connected to Minet uh, organization. Maybe you could contact them for uh, the questions that you're related to the PTTE buying gas and use do not really use for energy use in Thailand. So I'm sorry I can't really give you a concrete answer to that. And for the decommissioning question, I think I mean and the company, the Japanese company or any other foreign companies that have invested in the country would have to bring in their own technical team and everything to do it, even if the military junta allow them to do it. But I doubt it. The military might not even allow that because even though if the military allows it, then the military will probably use it as a political, tool to to advantage their political campaign. I mean, in that area, I probably try to gain the community support, even though even if they allow it. So, that's what I think, but I could be wrong. Definitely, Burma doesn't have financial capacity, technical capacity to do it. And then, as my colleague Nono mentioned, the law doesn't really require for investor to be responsible for the decommissioning for any foreign investments in Burma. Because I have never also see any laws that require that as well. I mean either. Um, about LGBT, there are a number of cases being reported. I mean by the LGBT colleagues themselves after they have left to the liberated areas. We call it areas controlled by the ethnic revolutionary armed organizations control areas. So there's, I mean, if you read their articles, if you read their a testimony, you can really see that how brutal the soldiers in the interrogation room, because uh bef- when people are when people are first arrested, I mean, they will have all of them to go through this interrogation room. The people also refer that is to a hell room where you will be beaten, you will be even raped, you will be sexually harassed. Sometimes even you will be asked to uh, have sex man to man, something like that. It's a way of really like try to, what do you call it, dignifying the person's dignity. That's so it's really horrible the way they treat people in the interrogation room. And then you will probably hear from the news that they just take the people in the morning and the afternoon. They ask the family to come and collect the bodies. So it's really hell for those who have gone through that interrogation room. But those who have who've been released, testify that many of them, including I think men and LGBT, straight men and LGBT themselves, I mean, being raped in that interrogation room. So uh, if we look at the human rights reports, we probably see how many cases being I mean happen like that. That's all from me. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Alex. And Yuka, would you like to say something about the accountability mechanisms on Japanese aid and the banks? I mean, you already touched on a lot of these in your presentation, but if there's a quick remark you would like to make on that?
Yeah, thank you for the question. JICA's accountability mechanism didn't work in this case because decision is in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, they said. And also we worked hard to be good guideline to JICA has a good guide, more better guideline for the each project. But in this case, like a whole ODA project to Myanmar is has no regulation, and also now it's very political situation is very difficult because of Japanese government are very interested in how to say it's one policy fully open in the Pacific. It's a context mixed with military interested because of the conflict between U.S. and China. So Japan is in the Japanese government is a U.S. side, but economically very close tie with China, and we, there are very so many conflict issues but basically Japanese government see that uh, uh, we have to do something to explain to U.S. government. So we are stand with you and some, and also that they look the Southeast Asia countries uh, to be our side, Japanese side or U.S. side, not in the China side, and something like that. That's kind of political interest made Japanese government decision affect to the Japanese government decision. So it's very difficult to the civil society side to change that such kind of mind. So yeah, one reason maybe Japanese government cannot stop ODA to Myanmar is such kind of political issue is was is in behind. So I cannot reply directly your question, but please understand such kind of situation also affect to the Myanmar relationship with Myanmar and Japan.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Yuka. And just before I close the session, I wanted to ask Alex and Nono if you have any last comment or thing to say to the audience and to the world. Nono, would you like to, or Alex first?
Thank you, Shah, and thank you, everyone. Just to add on to JICA projects, I mean, especially because I've been doing a lot of monitoring, I mean, in the last 10, 13 years of the foreign investment in Southeast Burma. And JICA has been one of was one of the first, I think, countries that provided OD to Burma to invest a lot in the road constructions, upgrading roads in conflict affected areas. And right now, those roads have become the military roads for military to use to deploy and to attack villages using those roads. So I don't know if you talk about the responsibility of the investor. I don't know how JICA will be responsible for all those because it's all, all, I mean, it's all connected. And JICA has also funded we call it the city, a small a place where they were planning to return refugees from Thailand. But that city has not been bombed by uh, the military. I mean, shelling, mortars and attack from air. So basically, Japanese government and its oversee project is really wasted the money, especially in Kran State. And I don't know how, in terms of responsibility, I don't know how the transport Yuka said. So finally, I just like to urge the Thai people and the ASEAN, people that please, I mean, whatever you can support the people's movement because we want a peaceful ASEAN community. If one country is in crisis and other countries studying and watch, I understand that ASEAN has these non-interference policies, but how can a country that how can the government kill its own people, but other governments are watching. So I think morally and from the human rights perspective, it is responsible for everybody to take action to support the reform of the democratic transition of Burma. So I hope that we see more actions coming from ASEAN countries and communities in the future. As we see, ASEAN has done really nothing. To support the crisis in Burma. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. Nono, any last remark that you would like to make? A short one.
Yeah, thank you, Shaw. And uh, for my part, and I would like to say 3 points. The first thing is all the corporate international corporation who making investment in Myanmar, please stop paying to the hunter, and you have obligation to do that because that hunter is not a government, and even you pay or without pay, your business is not guaranteed will be operate well. That's what is happening. You can see that, and especially from the oil and gas sector, that they've been using whatever they want, and they've been doing a lot of the your money to kill their own people. So that's the things that you have to be follow to what you committed in the international mechanism and what you are talking to your country and your government as a responsible investor. That's one thing. And another thing, it's like to the government, of all over the world, and especially the ASEAN and all the oil and gas corporate companies, hidden governments, to pressure to your own business people who invested in the Myanmar, and to follow and to reconsider and all the payment, and also to give a guideline to how to keep and how to go with the escrow account. That's what you can help to your own businessmen, to help to the people of Myanmar as a government. That's one thing. Even your own state-owned government, state-owned enterprise can start doing that one as a model, and every investor will follow you. That you will become as a model and also significant to follow all over the world, and the way you act. So without just talking on paper and just say sorry to the Myanmar. And also, and the last things, it's the now it's the Myanmar is really how to say, every day is killing ground, we can say that, everywhere. So when we or another, even the killing are not how to say, very rampantly and brutally, and it's inhumanly they are doing that. So at least, and you can help other things. At least you can support with your money for the weapon of the people in Myanmar. It will be really, really how to say, hurt the people of Myanmar. You will be the contributor. You will be part of the crime if you are continue doing that one. That will be in our calling. And please collaborate with us and also help with us, at least just not to support or not to pay in any money. So that's the final things. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nono. And I thank again Alex and Yuka and Nono for their very powerful and important presentations. And I think it's very clear from all your presentations and what we have seen in ASEAN, since ASEAN was founded, this complete lack of real material, legal, human rights-based responsibility and accountability on the part of both investment and investors as well as the governments. And in fact, ASEAN has taken its non-interference, political non-interference policy. It has legalized it in the ASEAN Economic Community, because they have their in the trade and investment agreements actually the investor state issues, where basically the governments commit to not interfere in the investment of a and protect basically the investors' rights. So investors have rights, they have legal rights. People don't have legal rights. So governments have actually, and then this is there in the ASEAN website. It's not something, I'm not a big detective, like Sherlock Holmes, who's finding this out. So it is very clear from the way ASEAN is operating, this complete lack of responsibility, complete lack of commitment, and real obligation to protect the rights and lives of people. But I would like to say that ASEAN is not alone here. Governments all over the world are doing exactly the same thing. Indian government is doing this. The EU is doing this. Of course, Japan and other East Asian countries are doing this. China is doing this. Many of the European, North American governments are also doing this. So I think all I can say in closing is that we need to come together and show a more practical side of solidarity by supporting the struggle in Burma. And one of the big issues here is stopping the money flow going to the junta one way or another, because even development aid supports the junta. So that's all I will say in closing, and thank you again very much, and thank you to the organizers and co-organizers of MEO. Thank you to the audience for being here for this very important panel, and thank you very much to the technical team for making this possible, this hybrid event. Thank you again, and I close the panel now.
Thank you very much.
Everyone.
Thank you all.
Thanks.
Thank you very much, Shamali, and thank you to all the panelists as well. So just to echo what Shamali said, that we have donation box to support the activisms in Myanmar. So if you go to the exhibition hall, there's a box for you to donate if you want to make a donation to support the activists in Myanmar. And also we have